I'm recording. Okay. Thank you guys so much for being on tonight, team. This is our Team on the Run call. It is Sunday night, August 14th, and I apologize because this call was supposed to happen almost a week ago, and it didn't because I had a little guy in urgent care, and it has been a wild week. So I'm here, and I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy weekends because I know how busy everybody is. I see some old faces of people I know, and I hope I don't bore you too much with my story. But I definitely see a lot of new faces in here too, which is awesome. So what I wanted to do is I actually did a call for Nadine Preston. You remember when she talked to us about Shakeology and the 7-day shake and shares? And so she wanted me to talk to her team then. We swapped teams, called, and she wanted to talk to her team about just like my top tips for the business. And so it really comes down to consistency for me. And so I thought, well, I went to the work to make this PowerPoint, and sometimes I have not connected to everybody on our team yet. And not everybody knows me and knows my story. And I've been in this business for 4 years. And granted, I am definitely not an expert. That is not like a long time as a coach, but long enough that I feel like I have some tips and tidbits and inspiration and encouragement I wanted to share with you guys. So thank you so much for taking the time to be on. I really appreciate it. And I will leave time open at the end for questions. Sound good? I love questions, so don't be shy about it at all. I am going to share my screen really quickly. So just hold tight. Yes. Okay. You guys can see, if you can see my screen, can you see it? Yes. Can I get a thumbs up? Ashley, can you give me a thumbs up? Because you're, okay, good. I'm seeing you. This is actually my dream board, guys, and I have it on my screen. And so each one of these pictures has different meaning to me. And so every time I get on my computer to work, I see it, and it just has a lot of meaning to me. So if you don't have a visual, this is something I did in probably the last year, only because my upline Amanda pushed me to do it. If you don't have a visual, do it. It's cool. To have that. So let me get my slide presentation up. I just thought I would explain to you what these images were on my screen. And I'll keep an eye on my time too, because we're starting later than I wanted. I don't want to keep anybody too late, so don't ever feel rude if you've got to hop off. I get it. Thank you. This is the slowest thing ever. My apologies. I should have had this raring to go. I just literally got my kiddos down. And of course, it's going to be really slow. All right. Okay. Just show me the presentation thing. Okay. I'm a really visual learner, so if I can ever have the time to create something for you, it just helps me. It's the teacher in me. So what I want to talk to you guys about today is just my top, I think I have 9 tips for just success in this business. And then they all really, when I was creating this PowerPoint for Nadine's team, I just kept coming back to the idea of consistency. And so I started out by saying, if you're persistent, you'll get it. And if you're consistent, you'll keep it. And I definitely think that that is true for this business. So, okay. So some of you guys don't know me. I'm not really like a big deal, but but I'm like either your mom coach or your grandma coach or your great grandma coach. You're on this team because I said yes to my upline Amanda, and your coach said yes to me, and then her coach said yes to her. And so we're all part of the same family. But now since like Megan has her own page and Nicole has her own page and Bridget has her own page, some of you guys know me really well and have met me personally or are my coach, and some of you probably feel disconnected and don't really know who I am. So I wanted to just treat this kind of as I would like I did Nadine's call, which was that they were all strangers to me. And so you're not strangers to me, but I just want to share with you guys my story. And I can't see you all as I present this, so it's a little weird, but I'm just assuming that you're watching. And I'm not talking too much. So here's my family. I'm a wife. This is my husband, Jason. We've been married for about 9 years. And I'm a mother to, this is my oldest kiddo, Beckett, and my second oldest, Reese, and my little one, Scarlett. And then I'm due to have another little girl in October. So we're busy. My oldest just turned 7. So I'm going to have 4 kids ages 7 and under. So it's busy around here. It's crazy. Hold on. My kiddo's at the door. Okay, go find daddy and tell him. Wait, check the garage, okay, sweetie? Sorry. This is reality. My son's cast is itchy. So he had to come tell me, get out of bed and come tell me his cast is itchy. I'm sure it's itchy. Who wants to wear a cast in August? Not me. Yuck. Okay, so that's my oldest kiddo. He's 7. And so, like I said, at 4 kids ages 7 and under, it's busy. My background, I'm going to try to go quick through this because you don't really care that much about my story probably, but my background, it has nothing to do with health and fitness. I was never particularly interested. I was never into sports in high school or college. I was always just like a relatively healthy person. And I actually have a bachelor's degree and then a master's degree in English education. So I was a high school teacher, and then I taught at the technical college here in Madison, Wisconsin, where I live, for a total of 12 years teaching. So that is my background, high school and college English, and nothing fitness related, absolutely nothing business related. And so I'm going to tell you kind of how my story came about. But my team is Team on the Run, so that's what you guys are all part of. And my stats, my Beachbody stats, if it means, and this may not mean anything to any of you guys because some of you are new, and that's okay, because I don't think that rank is the most important thing, but I have a 3-star diamond and then also a 1-star diamond, if that makes sense. So you have the ability, once you hit 2-star, and this might be something interesting to jot down, just a little FYI, once you hit 2-star diamond in your business, you get to open another business center as yourself, if that makes sense. So I actually have 3 business centers. I have my own, my second business center that also says Jessica Kennedy on it, and then I have my husband's business center. So once you hit 2-star, one of the biggest advantages is you get quarterly bonuses from the company, like profit sharing bonuses, and you also get to open another business center as yourself, which sounds really strange. And to some of you who are new, this doesn't probably make any sense to you, but I know like Alana was just asking a placement question, so this would be something she'd want to know. When you open your second business center, you can place it, say, on your weak leg to push volume up through that leg, and then you also, that business center counts as a diamond on your team. So it's kind of crazy. My husband is actually my 1-star diamond business. So that's why I've got different diamond businesses, and some of you guys might see Jason Kennedy as your star diamond upline. It's me, but I work his business too for income. And if you want to ask me any questions about that at the end, I sure can share. I'm a Success Club All-Star, Success Club 5 All-Star. Some of you guys beat the socks off me every single month. Like I consistently hit Success Club 5 to 10, but I am not a rock star. Like I saw Bridget Hammond on this call. She's hit Success Club 10 or more for 24 months consecutively. So definitely I'm working on it. And then this past year, and I don't say this to brag, guys, I say this to show you what's possible, because I want you to understand the capability of this business. This past year, when we filed my 2015 taxes, I just by the hair of my chinny chin chin cleared the 6-figure mark. And that, to me, coming from teaching and my first year as a coach, maybe averaging $100 or less a week, is huge. And so I want you to understand 4 years later, the implication, the financial impact that this business has had on my family. And I'm just a normal person like any of you. So it is possible. And so we'll talk about that. Okay. So how my journey started, I was home I had quit my full-time teaching job at the high school when I had my second baby. And so I had a 2-year-old and a newborn at home, and I was teaching part-time at the college because I was really burnt out. If any of you guys are teachers in here, we have a lot of teachers on our team. It's one of the most important jobs on the planet, and I do miss parts of it, but I was really burnt out with just the daily grind of staying up till midnight grading papers, for high school English teaching, and dropping my baby off at daycare. And, I commuted 30 minutes to work. It was just a lot. It was a lot on my shoulders, and I wasn't finding joy in my job. And I felt like a crappy mom and a crappy wife and a crappy teacher. And the last person I was taking care of was myself. So I quit my high school teaching job to teach English part-time at the college, which seemed like a really great compromise, because then I could be home with my kids all day, which I wanted to be. That's where I wanted to be. That's not where everybody wants to be. So it's okay if your end all goal in this business isn't to quit your job. Totally fine. My goal when I left teaching was I really wanted to be home with my kids. And so I was teaching part-time at the college. So I would be home all day with a 2-year-old and an infant. My husband would get home from work at 5:30. I would turn around and go teach classes from like 6 to 9. And then I would come home. And then I would be up with a baby. And then I would start the process all over. So you can about imagine how tired I was. I was like a shell of my former self, is the best way I can describe it. I had postpartum depression, which, despite being well educated and realizing the history of depression in my family and with myself, I chose not to deal with it because I just thought I could move on and figure it out on my own. I really was hesitant to address it. I was still wearing maternity clothes to teach, and my baby was almost 8 months old, because I had about 15 to 20 pounds baby weight that I hadn't lost because I was doing nothing for myself. Nothing. I wasn't working out. I wasn't eating right. I was depressed. I would sleep when my kids slept because I was tired. I mean, you can about imagine. I was running on empty. And then I never saw my husband, so our relationship was really strained because we didn't spend any time together. And then on top of that, we were struggling financially, and I wasn't telling anybody about that either. We had about probably $23,000 in credit card debt that had come from job loss, and then we had a house fire a couple of years prior, not even like a year prior to when this all happened. And so everything went on a credit card, and insurance does get you money back, but not 100%. And so you can imagine, so we never see each other. We have all this debt looming over our heads. My husband wasn't super forthright with me about how bad our financial situation was. I could not afford to be teaching part-time, but I also couldn't afford to have my kids in daycare. So it was bad. We were stressed. So that is where I started, probably the lowest point of my life. My friend Amanda, who's like my upline coach, we had been good college friends. We'd known each other for years. And she had invited me probably 100 times to be a part of a Beachbody challenge. And I consistently ignored her posts on Facebook. I wouldn't say I was a hater, but I definitely didn't buy in or understand or want to understand anything she was doing. So this is me speaking from the heart when I say, don't give up, because she didn't give up on me. She kept inviting me. And one day I finally said yes. My frustrations or not paying attention to her posts or saying no was because she was in such a different place than I was. And I saw so many things in her that I wanted for myself, but like I couldn't even figure it out. and I think I was really insecure. And so it really had nothing to do with her. It had everything to do with me. And she didn't quit inviting. So I finally said yes. I did not have a $210 to spend on a challenge pack. Back when I started, there was no $140 challenge pack, guys. There was no 21-day program. I bought an Insanity challenge pack, which is 60 days, like an hour a day, and my Shakeology for over $200. I did not have $200. So I don't even know where I came up with that money, because I didn't have a credit card to put it on, because all my credit cards were maxed out. So I guess I must have saved. And so I said yes, and I did her Insanity challenge. I hadn't worked out since, I don't even know, probably 3 years, since before I was pregnant with my first baby. So I have this 2-year-old and this infant at home, and I'm working and home with them. And so again, I didn't have time and I didn't have money. So don't let people get away with those objections either, because I didn't have either. And I was so out of shape. So I did my first day of Insanity and I puked with that fit test. I cried. I wanted to quit. I was like, why on earth did I do this? But I'm determined, and you'll know that from watching my slides here today. I am one of the most stubborn people you'll meet. So I was like, hell, if I spent like $200 on this, I'm going to do it. And so I did it, and I finished the 60 days. I ate what she told me to eat. There were no pretty containers. She said, eat this, don't eat that. And I did. I was super strict for 60 days, and I lost 17 pounds of baby weight. And I should have put my before and after pictures up, but some of you guys probably saw them on my wall the other day. I posted them. But bigger than the 17 pounds lost, I gained confidence. I was finally doing something for myself. I had energy. I didn't have to nap every day when the kids did, because I pushed play instead. I started paying attention to what I was eating. I connected with these women in my group, my challenge group. I didn't think I realized how lonely I was. I never saw other adults besides who I was teaching at night. And I went and I got help. I called a therapist and a psychiatrist, and I got help for my postpartum depression. My baby's almost a year old, but it was still postpartum depression. And so I started running. And so since then I've ran several half marathons, 1 marathon, and I just never looked back. That's how this business was born for me. I trusted in Amanda and what she had to offer me. And my very first challenger was one of my husband's coworkers, and she's a dear friend of mine. And she asked what I was doing because she wanted to do it. And so I coached her via email for my first challenge pack sale. I didn't even know where my website was or what to do, how to sell her the challenge pack. And she signed as a coach because I told her she should, because I didn't know any better. She's still a coach. And that's how this business was born for me. I needed grocery money, because I left the cart of groceries at the store with 2 babies with me, because my debit card was denied at the grocery store. I have a master's degree, and so does my husband. And I was like, I can't believe this is my life. I just needed $100 a week, and I needed to feel good in my own skin. And so that's how this business grew. It grew really organically from this place. And then it has exploded over the last 4 years. It has not grown super fast, but I think that it has grown with some really amazing women like you on my team. So I'm going to tell you my top tips for success. So that is where I'm at. Oh, I should say, victory. I never did look back with, I never gained the weight back, but I did eventually get pregnant with my 3rd baby and now my 4th baby, and ranked advanced to the diamonds or whatever. And I paid off all that credit card debt, $23,000 of credit card debt in 18 months with this business. And we closed on a new home in March, which is something that I never, ever would have been able to afford if it hadn't been for this business. So financially, it has been a deal breaker for us. It has really completely turned our financial situation around and our health around. My husband's lost weight. My kids get to see me run races. I mean, it's been a blessing. I can't emphasize enough how glad I am that I said yes to Amanda's invitation, finally, after she asked me like 20 times. So I'm going to go into my tips, because I just took way too much time in my story, but I wanted to tell you guys who I was and tell you a little bit more about me if you didn't know. So let's talk about my tips. And I definitely don't want this to sound preachy, like I know everything, because I don't, but I just want to share from the heart. because if anything I can say can help you on your journey, I think it's valuable. So my first tip is to be confident. I wasted so much time when I first started this business, being afraid of what people would think of me for being in an MLM, for posting before and after pictures on Facebook, for selling Shakeology on Facebook, for messaging people. And I finally had to figure out that their response has absolutely nothing to do with me. My heart is in the right place. Their response has to do with them. Just as me saying no to Amanda had everything to do with me and how low I was in my life, and it had nothing to do with her. So I think new coaches waste a lot of time being scared of judgment and failure in this business. What are people going to think? We waste a lot of time worrying about that. And I have to say, and I don't mean this in a negative way, you guys are going to realize the more you get to know me, I'm pretty no nonsense. You're going to lose some friends and followers with this business. You will, period. I have lost friends. But you know, at the end of the day, they weren't really my friends. Anyways, I know that sounds like a middle school cliche, but it's true. My best friends have either joined me or at least accept what I'm doing. But sometimes your friends and family are the last people to come around. But you're going to lose friends. You're going to lose followers. You're going to have people unfriend you on Facebook. You're going to have people unfollow you on Facebook. I've had people tell me to my face that they've unfollowed me on Facebook. You know what? F that. Like that's fine. That's their choice. But it's taken me a long time, like 4 years, to get to the point where I can say F that, right? So I just want to remind you that some will, some won't, and so what? Someone is waiting for what you have to offer. Stop taking no as a personal attack. Stop taking non-responses as a personal attack when you send an invite. Your top priority when you sit down and send out 10 invites is it's just like you put your heart in this message and hit send. But they probably got other messages coming in and they're busy. Everybody's busy. If they don't respond or if they say no, it's not anything against you, most likely. You're not their top priority. So stop feeling personally wounded by it and move on from it. Remembering that what you're offering is a gift. Amanda offered me a gift when she offered me this opportunity to join her Insanity Challenge. If I had known how much that gift would change my life, I would have said yes a lot sooner. So what you are offering somebody is a gift. And if they choose not to take it, that's their issue. But it's nothing against you. Be confident and don't consistently give things away for free. And this is something that, again, I did a lot of when I first started this business. I'm not saying don't ever run a free challenge group. I'm not saying don't ever let someone in your group without Shakeology. That's up to you. But I'm saying please don't run a group where every single person in there bought it off of Amazon. No, you invested in a program. You invested in Shakeology through your coach. This is a business. Don't be lending your DVDs to everybody after you spend the money to buy them. These are all mistakes I made, P.S. So I feel like I can preach it because I'm like the biggest people pleaser you'll ever meet, which is something I've really had to work hard on, saying no to people. But I was the queen of letting people in my groups for free or lending my DVDs or buying Shakeology for someone at my discount. No, this is a business. Treat it like a business. You don't ask your friend who works at Target to get you things at a discount or for free, correct? So just make sure that you are remembering in the back of your mind that you're building a business. Yes, you want to help people, but if you have any desire to build an income with this business, your challenge groups can't all be free. Some are free. And do personal development to get in a fierce mindset, guys. I can't emphasize enough, if you are lacking confidence in this business, especially if it's something you've been doing for a while, personal development makes all the difference. Okay, I ramble. Be an ambitious student is my next tip for you guys. And this is a Trina Gray comment, if you ever were on our call with Trina Gray, who's a top coach in this business. But this is a business, so learn it. Trina will say, don't be an asshole. So stop asking your upline questions that you can find the answers to in the FAQs. And I don't mean that in a mean way or a crabby way, because I am always here to help you. You know, Alana had a super good question at the beginning of this Zoom about placement. That is a tricky question. She's not going to find the answer to that in the FAQs. She has a right to know. Now, should she be posting how much is the 21-day fix challenge pack this month? No. You need to take ownership of your business and treat this like a business. Do our programs, try our products, practice what you preach, soak in information like a sponge. Don't waste your time or your upline's time or your accountability partner's time asking questions to things that are right in front of you. Get to know that online office and dig in and be enthusiastic about learning this business. Does that make sense? Really think it's important. If you're thinking, oh, damn, sometimes I'm guilty of sending Amanda like a really goofy question, like I had a question the other day about signing a veteran because I don't sign a lot of military people. And even after I FAQ'd it, I was still uncertain. She's not going to be grumpy with me for asking that question, but she will be grumpy with me for asking something like, does military get a free waiver? Yes, they do, Jess. So type in FAQs. If you Google the FAQ, it'll pop up even in Google. So just something, be an ambitious student, learn this business, be enthusiastic to soak in information like a sponge. You are offered a training, take it. Even if you can't keep up with it, do the best you can and soak it in. My next tip, I'm talking a lot, so I want to keep moving quick here. Do personal development. Along with lacking confidence when I first started this journey 4 years ago, it was 4 years ago in June, I did not do personal development because I didn't have time, right? If I could go back and change anything, obviously my lack of confidence and my lack of personal development were linked. Do it every damn day, guys. That's where the consistency in this business comes in. You're consistently learning this business. You're consistently building your confidence. You're consistently doing personal development every day. Find the method that works for you. All too often I find people who say, I can't read a book. I fall asleep. Well, then don't read it. Listen to it. I can't listen to a book. I zone out. Well, then read it. I don't know what to tell you, but again, you're a student in this business, so find a method that works for you. Find a topic that speaks to you. Don't be afraid to reread the same book. I think that sometimes those of us like me who I really love to read and I love personal development, now that I've finally given it a chance, I'm guilty of consuming all this information, but then not really applying it. So don't be afraid to reread the same book a few different times before you move on. Team up with a buddy to hold you accountable. I think that that's huge. I'm almost always reading the same book as somebody else because then I feel a little bit of a competitive edge where they're like, how far are you in your book? What did you like from the reading today? And I don't want to be like, I didn't read, So I think that it can be really valuable to just bounce ideas off of somebody else if you're reading the same book or listening. Never miss a national wake-up call. I never listen to them live, guys. My life is chaotic at that time. I've got kids underfoot. It's crazy. So I could either use that as my excuse or I could do what I do now, which I did not do for a whole year, okay? So I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. For a whole year, I never listened to a national wake-up call when I first started. But now we realize that being busy when they're on live is not an excuse because my iPhone has a podcast app for free where I can get all the old national wake-up calls for free. Once I fast forward through all the shout outs, whatever, great, awesome. I fast forward through the shout outs. I get to the meat of a call. It's like 20 minutes of your life and you are maybe a half an hour. You're going to walk away feeling inspired. You're going to walk away having tips. Be that ambitious student who wants to learn. Stop listening to the radio in the car and listen to your national wake-up calls. I promise you could listen to years worth of them. And you're going to just be an addict, like I'm an addict to those old national wake-up calls. I love them. That's where my personal development started. And it totally changed my confidence in this business. So those are my tips with personal development. And again, consistency. I'm not saying do it once a week. I'm saying doing it every day. Sometimes maybe it's only 10 minutes. Sometimes it's only 5 minutes. Sometimes it's only 10 pages. Sometimes it might be an hour. But do it. You're worth it. My next tip for you guys with consistency, I'm throwing a lot at you tonight, is to find your unique brand. And you've probably heard this a ton through any social media guidance that your coach has given you or I've given you. Beachbody is not the brand. You are the brand. People can buy P90X3 off Amazon. They can borrow 21 Day Fix from their friend. The reason they're going to want to purchase through you is because you are uniquely you. And I think that the more consistently you can put that brand across on social media, find it and own it. It's really important. Yes, I told you earlier to follow top coaches, but the thing I would warn against with that is don't follow every single top coach out there because it distracts you from being you. I think that I listen to a lot of the top coaches on the National Wake Up Calls, but who I follow on social media, just a couple of them. Why? Because then I start feeling like I need to be like them, or I get distracted by them, or I don't need my news feed to be only coaches. I need to focus on me and what makes me unique outside of my fitness journey and within my fitness journey too. Your brand is going to represent the challengers and coaches that you're trying to attract. They're going to represent your avatar. Some people on this call have a really great grasp of their brand, and some people are still trying to figure it out. So I'm going to tell you really quick. I'm going to give you like 30 seconds to do this. In a minute, I want you to brainstorm 5 unique interests or qualities about you. They can be related to fitness. They don't have to be. So for example, for me, oh geez, I put myself on the spot here. I would say I'm a runner, which is part of my brand for sure. I am the mother of a large family. That's definitely part of my brand. I would say, like, for example, my faith is not, I'm not a particularly religious person, and that's not something that's part of my brand. So that's not something I'm going to be posting about on Facebook because it doesn't feel like me, right? So you need, if you're a crafter, if you're Alyssa Gibson posted a do-it-yourself project on her Facebook page today. That's part of her brand. Being a mother of 5 is part of her brand. So I think that we all have things about us that make us unique from one another. Maybe you're a dog mama. Maybe you love to cook. Tammy, I might have seen her on this call. She, like, her happy place is in the kitchen, and I love following her page for her food. So some people have, we all have parts of us that are unique, and they may or may not be related to our fitness journey, but there's still qualities that make you you and that I want you to be posting consistently about. So right now I want you to brainstorm at least 5 unique interests or qualities about you. Take a second to jot it down. Are you military? Are you a horseback rider? Are you a triathlete? Like, what are you? So take 30 seconds. Okay, so hopefully you wrote down at least 5. You can write down more. But my challenge to you, and this is where your consistency comes in, and we're moving into social media right now, is to be posting consistently, representing that brand. Because guess what? That brand that you're representing, that is looking in the mirror at who you want to attract. So when you're worried about your haters on Facebook, because yes, we do all have haters. Yes, we will lose friends and followers. It doesn't matter because those are not the people who are attracted to your brand. Those are not the people who are relating to you and want what you have to offer. Okay, so I want you talking to the people who care about your brand and be really consistent in marketing yourself as you, if that makes sense at all. So we're going to talk a little bit about social media. Guys, I could do a call just on social media, but there's so much information out there, and some of you are really well versed in it. Some of you are just starting out. So I'm here to support you. But my 5th tip is to be really consistent on social media. What does that mean? if you want to grow this business as a business, you need to be posting, and you need to be posting every day. It's a non-negotiable. Sometimes you'll see that Saturdays and Sundays are a little slower for me. I don't want to be plugged in when I'm hanging out with my family. So those might be 2 times a day posts for me. Sunday night, by the way, though, guys, is a really good night to be inviting people to groups. So I would get active on social media. If you have not yet been this evening, just give yourself a half an hour after this call, okay? Because people are winding down from the weekend and they feel yucky from not working out or eating too much. But posting 2 to 4 times a day, and I'd follow the 80-20 rule here. By 80-20, I mean make 20% fitness, food, coaching opportunity related, 80% the reality show of your life and your brand. If your brand is funny, have some funny family posts. If your brand is your faith, if your brand is your do-it-yourself projects, if your brand is fashion, I don't care what it is, but you should be weaving in 80% of your posts should have nothing to do with Beachbody. Okay? So I make sure at the end of the day, have I posted at least one fitness, food, or coaching post? If I have, feel good. Sometimes I do more than that. It depends on how often I've posted that day, though. I still want to stick to 80-20. Does that make sense? I'm talking about Facebook here. So if you're on like Snapchat or Instagram, you can post like 15 times a day. It's a little bit different. There's really no limit. But Facebook, people get sick of seeing your crap in their feed if it's too much Beachbody. Yes, you're posting every day. Something that I want you to focus on, though, before you're like, oh, crap, Jess says I need to be posting more. Ask yourself, so what, before you post? You would rather be posting 2 quality posts in a day than 4 posts that don't matter. So ask yourself, so what? Next time you're here being like, look at me, I'm a health coach, I'm drinking water. Okay, so what? Why should you be caring about drinking water? Are you giving away some information about water? Did you try something new with your water? Do you have a fact about hydration? Do you have a funny story about hydration? I don't know. But ask yourself, so what? Some posts are going to bomb, and that's okay. Sometimes it's the time of day or whatever, but don't get freaked out about it. But don't post a ton of like empty posts that don't mean anything just because you feel like you need to be online. And I really, really, really can't emphasize enough, guys, how important the consistency of posting is. When you don't post consistently, what happens is you post about a challenge group, nobody responds, therefore you think you're failing at this job and that nobody wants to be in your challenge group. Am I right or am I right? Yes. Part of the problem is, and I have the same issue, and I still have the same issue sometimes. Part of the problem is I haven't posted in 3 days except for the one post I made about the challenge group. Well, no one gives a crap. No, you're not even showing up in people's news feeds. No one saw it, right? Maybe it's the time of day you posted it. Maybe it was that you posted a picture of the program and not a picture of yourself, and it felt spammy to people. I don't know. I don't understand the Facebook gods, but I do understand that if you're not consistent with your posting, you don't gain traction in the Facebook world, and then people just don't see your stuff. So I really think it's important to be posting consistently, because you've got to build that traction in your Facebook market. You need to be adding new contacts. Yes, every day, consistently. So this is another thing that I find people complain about, and myself included, okay, that you put a challenge group invitation out on Facebook, nobody responds. But I do post consistently on Facebook, Jess. I don't understand. Because you're talking to the same 185 people every single time. Those 185 people are interested in your challenge group. They would have joined by now. You need to have double that, triple that, quadruple that amount of followers on Facebook if you want to build a business. Your Facebook page, for good or bad or whatever it is, has just changed from a way that you keep in touch with a few friends from high school and show them pictures of your baby. It's changed to your storefront. And so that's just part of this business. And if you don't like that, then find a different storefront. That's fine. Maybe Instagram's your thing. I don't know. But You have to be adding new contacts every day, or you're still talking to the same 200 people and they're not interested in what you're offering. So stop worrying so much, again, confidence about who you're adding and what they're going to think of you. And if they're going to think you're just trying to add them to sell them something, please don't add them and then spam them. That's not what I'm telling you to do. Just add them. Let them watch you every day. I want you to wake up. If it's a thing you dread, do it first thing in the morning. Just do it. My next tip for social media is be interesting. This is where giving stuff away for free is important. Give recipes, give fit tips, give a fit move, make a video. I don't care, be interesting. Give some information for free to people. They love that stuff. They'll start following you. Also be interested on social media. What do I mean by that? Ask questions. People absolutely, positively love to be an expert in things. They love to share their opinion. I asked the other day where my husband and I should go on a trip before we have this baby. And I really do want to know, because we're going to go next month. We're going to go for a night away before we have the baby on a baby moon. But I had a bazillion comments. Everybody's got something they want to share. So what happens when you have a question like that? I asked a question about getting my daughter's ears pierced. She's 5. Her ears aren't pierced. She asked me about it. So then I asked, like, how old were you when you got your ears pierced, or when you pierced your kids' ears? My daughter's asking about it. Oh, I had like 50 responses. I asked about a question about getting my kids a trampoline. Literally like 70 responses. So ask a question because you're interested, genuinely, like be you. I'm authentically interested in these things, right? But then I would say within 12 hours of a big post like that, where a lot of people give feedback, post a challenge group invite. Why? Because all those people that just gave their feedback are going to see your stuff now. They're interacting with you. Does that make sense? Same thing if you post an interesting post. You post a food picture, give a teaser, like, hey, look at what I made tonight for dinner. Post recipe later. And then a lot of people comment below if you want the recipe. A lot of people will comment. You're building traction, you're building traction, you're building traction. Post the recipe, then later post challenge group invite. Okay? So I think it's really important to be interesting and interested. Keep telling your story. Remember the power of the transformation post. I struggle with this, guys, 4 years into the business, because I feel like everyone's heard my story. But I posted my very first insanity before and after picture last week, I think, for Transformation Thursday. And there was people on this team who were like, I've never seen this picture. And I was like, holy crap. Like, why didn't I share this? I don't know, because I feel like my story has moved on and I'm doing different things. And just never forget the power of your story. Never forget the power of transformation posts. You need to be posting your story, whether it be a financial transformation, an emotional transformation, a physical transformation, a twist you can make on your transformation. You might have to dig deep. I've been doing this for 4 years. I have to dig deep sometimes to figure out what to post, but those are such powerful posts. Keep telling your story. You're telling it to the people who've never heard it before. You're not telling it to the 200 friends you already had on Facebook who've heard it and love you. You're telling it to the 3 new people you added yesterday. Okay? So just make sure that you are telling your story. Transformation Tuesday, Throwback Thursday, those are great times to tell your story. I keep moving because I don't want to keep you guys too late. Recognize that success is not convenient. And you guys have probably heard me preach this enough. And this is where consistency is going to come in, guys. Life happens. There's always going to be a reason you could choose not to show up. Always. I promise you, always. We're adults. Life is hard. Things come up. My question for you is, what if you didn't show up to any other job? What would happen? You either would get fired or you wouldn't get paid if you just stopped showing up. You need to treat your business with the same respect. You need to treat this business like $1 million business from day one, because I am telling you right here, right now, that this is $1 million business, guys. If I can start by making $80 a week when I first started and make several $1,000s a week now in this business, it's because I show up. There's no magic secret. You need to treat it like $1 million business from day one. Don't jump ship or lose momentum when success is not instantaneous, because it's not going to be. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And this is Team on the Run, so I know there's a lot of marathoners in here, okay? I like to compare this business to training for a marathon. It is not convenient to train for a marathon. It's hard. Some runs suck. Some days you don't want to run and you're like slogging through it. Other days it's amazing, but it's never going to be convenient. But if you don't show up, guess what? You don't get your training done and you never cross the finish line. So it's the same thing. If you take too long off of training for a marathon, you have to start all over again. It's the same thing with this business. When you're like, I'm just going to take a step back for a while. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it this summer. I'm really busy. It's the same thing. If this business is a hobby for you, that's totally 100% fine. If this business is a business for you, you take time off, you're starting over when you start back again. It's just the nature of the beast. Your power hour has to be a non-negotiable every single day. Sometimes when I first started this business, and a lot of times still today, I'm working in power pockets, okay? Because I don't have an hour of time. So I have to make an hour of time, and it's not going to be convenient. It's going to be getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning when my kids are still sleeping. It's going to be working at nap time when there's laundry to be folded. It's going to be, when I was teaching, it was staying after on campus for a half an hour to check in with my challenge groups in a power pocket, because I knew it would be quiet, uninterrupted time. So you have to make the time or it won't happen. And I really encourage you guys to focus on your top 3 musts each day. Sometimes you're not going to bring your A game. And that's kind of what I know I sound really preachy right now. And I don't want you to feel like Jess is telling me if I don't put hours into my business every day, I'm going to fail. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that sometimes life is going to get in the way and you're going to bring your C game. Okay, I brought my C game last week when my kid broke his arm. I had a really crappy few days here at home. I was tired. I'm 30 weeks pregnant. It was yucky. I still showed up though and did my power pockets. Still posted on social media. I still sent some invites out. Was it amazing? Like, would I want to hire myself? Not necessarily, but would I want to fire myself? No. So sometimes life happens and maybe you're going to go on vacation. Good, take a vacation. That's awesome. But don't just stop showing up altogether for months, okay? Show up, be there, be present. And if it's a hard day, then focus on your top 3 musts that you must get done and let the rest of your list go. Because that's part of the beauty in this job, is that it can be designed by you. And so if you don't get to everything on your list, you go to bed knowing that you did the best you could. Maybe it's not an A+ game, but you still showed up. And if you have frogs, if you've not yet read Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, jot that down because that's a really good one. Eat That Frog. Eat your frogs first. For me, my frogs are follow-ups. For me, my frog is my workout. For me, my frog is inviting and adding friends. Those are the parts of my bit. Well, I like doing my workout, but it's just really easy for me to postpone it. But I don't love inviting. I don't love following up. I don't love friend requesting new people. I just don't. It's something I do because I know I need to. So because it's my frog, it's a thing I don't want to do. I eat it first. Do it beginning of your power hour. If you got more than one frog, eat the biggest and ugliest one first. All you do is go to bed tonight knowing that you ate your frog. You did pretty damn good in my opinion. Okay? It's my next, and I know I'm going to sound really like super like wah wah pessimistic when I say this, but anybody who's been doing this business for more than 5 minutes will agree with me on this one. You will want to quit at some point in your journey. And just like my little quote here says, it's a lot, again, like running a marathon. If it was easy, everyone would do it. If it was easy, everybody would be Beachbody millionaires, guys, okay? This business isn't difficult. Like, it's not difficult. The 4 vital behaviors are pretty basic. What we do in our challenge groups is not difficult, okay? But it's hard, like emotionally hard. Does that make sense? And if this business is going to break your heart, I tell you that right up front, because you're going to have the person you thought was the next superstar diamond join your team and then quit on you. You're going to have people unfriend you. You're going to have spouses that don't support you in this business. It's hard. You need to grow rhino skin. And I struggle because I don't have rhino skin. I've definitely been hurt in this business. The highs are really high, but the lows can be low. And sometimes it's isolating because you're doing a lot of this business from your home, right? You're like hanging out by yourself. So what is going to keep you going are those highs, and realizing that you need to learn to love the grind. And what do I mean by that? I think that was a Trina Gray thing too. I mean that showing up and doing your power hour every day is not super exciting, but man, that's the work that's going to get you to your goals. And you've got to embrace that grind. You've got to show up and do it, even if it's a 20-minute power pocket. And if you're starting to feel burnt out, if you've been in this business for a little while and you're starting to feel like all you're doing is grinding and grinding and grinding and you're not experiencing highs, then I encourage you to try a fresh new approach. So what do I mean by that? I mean, try a new workout program, train for a race, try Whole30, try whole fat, low carb, take a cooking class. I don't know, try to learn a new form of social media. Try Instagram, try Snapchat, try a new approach, keep it fresh, keep it interesting for yourself. And I think at the end of the day, it sounds like, I mean, here I am telling you guys you're going to want to quit. I've wanted to quit. Why didn't I quit? Because I remember my why. My why is that beautiful picture of that family you saw on the first slide, guys. Your why needs to make you cry. If you don't have a why that makes you cry, this business is going to be really challenging for you. So you need to focus on, what is my why that makes me want to cry? That is why you keep pushing. Because like I said, really this business isn't that difficult. It's just a matter of showing up. But you've got to have your why in the forefront of your mind. For me, it's my family, providing the best possible life for them that I can. Okay? And being the healthiest, most emotionally, financially, physically healthy person that I can be for my family is my why, to give my children every opportunity there is in the world, and to be home with them. That's my why, and that to me is worth getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning for. So now that I've scared you all and you think you're going to want to quit, I'll be positive here. Dream big is my last tip for you guys. The only difference, and I mean this, the only difference between you and a top 10 coach is the time and consistency that they have had in this business. The only difference between me and you is time and consistency. I've been doing this longer than you, and I show up every day. That's it. I don't have a degree in business. I haven't done anything special. I've dared to dream big, though. So I want you to dare to dream big, guys, and I want you not to be afraid to share those dreams with others. Write them down, post them somewhere where you can see them, share them with your upline, share them with your spouse, share them with your best friend, unless your best friend is hating on you right now for joining an MLM, which is possible. But then share it with someone else on the team. You need to believe in those dreams when others are naysayers, or you lose your own confidence, or life gets in the way and you just don't think you can do one more thing. I remember feeling that way. I've got these kids, I've got this teaching job, I can't do one more thing. But then I realized that one more thing was my way out of a life that was full of too many things. Does that make sense? Like, it was my way to get more freedom in my life. And so believe in your dreams. Don't let your foot off the gas. And I think I made a post about this the other day, but sometimes you guys are going to be cruising like race car, cruising away, feeling amazing. You just rank advanced. You just made your first $200 check, your $500 check, $1,000 check. You had the most amazing messages from a challenger telling you how much their life has changed, and you're cruising. And then other times you're like going 5 miles an hour down a bumpy road and you're like, this sucks. I don't even know why I'm doing this. It's not even worth my discount on Shakeology. But whatever the way you're driving is, don't let your foot off the gas. When you let your foot off the gas, you have to restart your car all over again from the first day. I really think it's important, if you need to slow down, back up, take a break, just keep showing up a little bit. Keep your foot on the gas, because you are worth it. And when you discount your dreams and stop showing up because success isn't instantaneous, you're selling your dreams short, guys. I really believe that. I think it's important to just show up every day. And in 4 years, you will be where I'm at. If that's what you want, maybe it's not what you want, and that's okay too. But whatever your big, hairy, scary dreams are, keep showing up for them. And that's really the whole message in my presentation for you guys, is just the power and consistency in achieving what you want. So I have gone 2 minutes over. It's 9:32. I'm gonna stop my share because I think that's my last slide. It is. Okay. So stop share. Stop. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is hi, everybody's here. Okay. What I want to do is, if you gotta go, it's 9:32. I totally get it. I respect your time, and I started a little late. But if you've got questions, I do want to stay on for like another 10-15 if you've got questions. But if you gotta go, no, I'm not offended. Okay, truly, I totally get it. So if you don't have questions, that's fine too. But I'm an open book, so whatever you guys have for me, I will answer it. It doesn't have to be anything related to this presentation too. It could be a question about, just don't ask me how much the Country Heat Challenge pack is, because I'll tell you to go check the FAQs. Questions, guys? You can unmute yourself too. This is a small group. Oh yeah. Shout out to Leah. I just saw you post on Facebook earlier today that to come out as a Beachbody coach. That's awesome. Good work. Any questions, guys?
I don't really have a question, but I'm definitely, I don't really know how to explain it, but I definitely take it personal when people ignore my messages. And I feel like you were talking about the 80-20 rule, like fitness is 20%. I feel like I'm backwards with that. So that's what I'm going to try and work on.
Actually, I think that's important. I for sure was backwards on that when I started, and I was posting a lot of just a lot of pictures of like me with my program, me with my shake, me with my program, me with my shake, me working out, and people start to ignore it, so I think that's a good point. Ashley, read Go for No. Have you read that one yet?
No.
I in fact think you might be able to find it. That might be one you can find free on YouTube. Anybody know? Go for No. It's really, really short. If you guys haven't read it, read it. It's really short, and it's all about not being afraid of the no, which I guess I would also include as non-responses. The non-responses are so frustrating in this job. Do you guys all agree? Super irritating. Just give me an answer. So yeah, definitely work on switching up your 80-20, and then read Go for No, or try to see if you can find a free recording of it somewhere, because I'll look for YouTube. I'm pretty sure there's a free recording. It's really short. You'll be able to listen to it in like a few hours.
Okay.
It helps you realize if you don't ask the question, the answer is always going to be no. Let's see. I've got a question in the chat. Let's see. For some reason, my audio wasn't working. Any tips on how to rework your post? For example, my post I did a couple months back about my why in regards to Lincoln and his hearing loss. Do you try to work? This is from Carla, I'm guessing. Yes. Do you try to rework those posts, or do you essentially recycle the same post with little to no change? It depends on how long ago I posted it. And it depends on the forum that I'm posting it on. Does that make sense, Carla? So if you posted it on Facebook and then you're going to post it on Instagram, I think you can literally cut and paste, do the same exact thing. Same thing with your like page to your personal page, I think is totally fine. If you're posting it both on your personal page, then I would rework it. Does that help? Even just something as simple as a different picture and like changing the wording slightly, because just remember, the people who loved it the first time might not even see it the second time, and even if they did, they're not going to be like, oh, I already read that. They're going to love it the second time around because I loved it the first time, But if it's been a little while since I have posted it, if it's been like a year, then I wouldn't worry at all about reposting the same exact thing. Does that help at all? Your posts are amazing. Carla, by the way, yes, they're amazing. She does a great job. I love following you. Okay. Oh, Leah, no problem. I'm so excited that you posted about it. Angela says, if you have a like page and a personal page, did you try to post 2 to 4 times a day on each, or do you split between them? Currently, I'm splitting between them on most days. That is so hard. The best response to say would be to post that much on both. But I really struggle with that. That's me being really honest, Angela. I struggle with coming up with content for both. Tag myself. Alyssa says she tags herself in like page posts if I can. Yes. That's something that we learned in that Jesse Reagan training that I still haven't finished, Alyssa, is to tag your personal page on share from your like page to your personal page. Yep. Tag yourself. I think it's really important to not write off your personal page, because that's where your bigger audience is. Does that make sense? So I think it's important to be focusing on other forms of social media, but I don't know if other seasoned coaches want to give a heads up or a thumbs up, but I feel like I do work my like page, although I've been bad lately, but I really feel like you can't ignore your personal page because your greater audience is there, at least for most of us at this point in our business. Do you agree? Yeah, but anytime you can cross over as much as possible and reuse the same post, I would do it. Does that help, Angela? Other questions, guys? How do you deal with having your accounts public with posting about your kids? I'm super paranoid about stalkers. Yes. Brittany, that's a really, really good question. I don't know if other parents have things they want to share. First of all, I don't want to tell anybody how to parent, okay? So please don't ever take what I have to say as like that I'm telling you to do certain things as a parent or not. I never ever post naked pictures of my kids. Ever. Not even like booty shots. Yep, Alyssa says do what you're comfortable with. I don't post bathtub pictures. I just don't. It creeps me out. I don't know. I don't accept friend requests from men. And I know that, yes, there could be a pedophile out there who's a woman or who's a man posing as a woman or who's the woman's husband. I mean, that's the thing, is like the possibilities are endless. And so I just can't really go there. I have to do what I'm comfortable with. You'll notice if you follow me, Brittany, I think we're friends on Facebook, that if you'll look, a lot of my posts that have my kids in them are set to friends only. And a lot of my posts that don't are public. And I then again have like 1,500 friends on Facebook. So what's saying that one of them isn't a pedophile? They could be, but if I had 150 friends on Facebook, one of them could be a pedophile too. And that's the thing that you just don't know. Does that make sense? Like, I don't ever accept, I have very few men as Facebook friends unless I know them personally, but then it's like you get in your own head and be like, do I really know them? No. None of our kids are really safe from social media presence, and that's the sad thing. So they all have an internet footprint if someone really wanted to stalk you down. That sounds really scary. Anyone have thoughts on that? Like, I guess I feel like the likelihood of, I don't know. That's a hard one. Just be careful and be smart about it and do what you feel comfortable with. I would say don't post about your kids at all, but if that's part of your brand and part of who you are, and a lot of your friends are on Facebook to see your kids, I think that's important too. But just be mindful. Be careful about posting your location. Make sure that you're not, like constantly checking in places with your kids. Make sure your phone number, and I don't have my phone number or my address or anything like that on there. I don't know. Does anyone else want to give any feedback on that one? Any other moms in here? Yep. Carla says she was nervous at first, but I think it's such a rare chance that I let it go. I'm sure I'll hate myself if something happens. I said I can't live in fear in terms of my kids being on social media. I agree, Carla, and I think that's kind of what I was trying to say, was I made you feel like everybody out there is a stalker, but sorry, I didn't mean to say that. But I really think it's true that if you had 50 friends on Facebook, one of them could be a pedophile. So I don't know whether, I mean, let's be honest. I don't know if this is going to be the deal breaker. If you have 800 women who care about fitness are probably not the people who are after your kids. So the chances are pretty slim. Alyssa says she agrees with Carla. If someone is going to target my kids, they'll do it regardless. And I think that's true. Most of the people you're targeting with your Facebook stuff, it's a bunch of moms, you know. Does that help? Do what you feel comfortable with. End of the story there. But I get that question a lot. I was really scared to add friends on Facebook when I first started for that very reason. Other questions you guys have? Business questions? Don't be shy.
I feel like it's really hard to get men to be interested in Shakeology, except for my gay guy friends. But I feel like straight men, I feel like they're like, oh, I don't want to lose weight, yada, yada, or they're just not into it. So that's why I've been targeting women. And because I'm a woman, I can relate. I can't really relate to a man. But.
I agree. I work with very, very few men. So I say if your audience is women, roll with it. I don't know. Sometimes I have worked with men, but it's few and far between.
So you said that you do your husband's. Does he have a lot of men under him?
No.
Since he's a man? No.
I have had one male coach in 4 years, and he quit. So male coaches can be very successful in this business. And male challengers can be super successful in this business. I've had a few who've been awesome, but in general, it's not my target market. Like, I'm really passionate about helping women, so I just don't market to them a lot, but my husband does our products and I've got a few guys who've done Shakeology with me, but in general, I don't try to market to them very much. And my husband's business, I run it. He doesn't run it. So I don't know. He doesn't try to get coaches or anything, or challengers. Maybe someday he will. Leah said, and then I'll let you guys go in a minute because I know it's late. Leah said, is it helpful to have a like page and your personal page? I didn't think about making one, so I was just curious. Yeah, eventually, Leah, I would definitely think about branching out into another form of social media beyond your Facebook personal page. So whether that be a like page or whether it be Instagram, but something besides your Facebook like page, in time I would branch out. You could do it now if you wanted to. I didn't. I wanted to kind of just establish my business presence on my personal page first. But eventually, two forms of social media would be good to expand your market. And whatever that is up to you. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut if someone else had a question. And I have gotten business from my Facebook like page. Yes, it can be tricky to gain traction with it. It takes time. That's what I have found with my Facebook like page. I don't know if you guys agree. It takes a lot of time. Carlos, Janelle says, I wonder how you track all the people that you friend. That's been a challenge for me. Pen and paper, Janelle, but I would eventually I need to have a better system than that. I really, really struggle. But think about creating interest lists of them. Have you ever created an interest list on Facebook? Have you guys done it? Anybody in here? Okay. I have not, and I need to because I preach it, because it's been preached to me. Interest list, and I'm not exactly sure, how to even do it. I think it's up on the left-hand side of your screen, but as you add new friends, basically what an interest list is, and it's on my list to do this week, is you create so you can see groups of people's pages. So like you create an interest list with your coaches or your new ads on Facebook so that you're not constantly just seeing, so you can interact with the people you want to interact with. Am I explaining that, Carla? I don't know if you have anything else you want to add to that. Alyssa, have you created interest lists? Do you have anything else you want to add to that? I don't want to keep you guys late. Sorry.
I didn't unmute myself.
No, you're good.
It's been a while, and I created them, but then I didn't use them. So, but how you're explaining them is right. It basically, you can set up like a separate news feed, essentially, with these people. So then you can go in and you can click on that group of people and like comment on their posts and just see things. So you're not kind of stuck in that scrolling of the news feed of, pictures of puppies and the stuff that's not worth your time.
Exactly. You're very intentionally working with certain people. So I would do that. And even just maybe keep them on a whiteboard, and just check off every time you go interact with your new friends. You definitely want to interact with your new friends. Maybe don't jump on them and invite them right away, because I think that's creepy. Just build a relationship. And I will let you guys go here in a sec, but Carla said she has a harder time connecting with men. I've had a few in my challenge groups. They tend to be much more quiet in the groups. Her husband explained it to her. They tend to be more quiet, just put their head down and get shit done. Yes. I have found when I have had men, I agree 100% with what Carla just said. When I have had men, I have had more luck messaging them one-on-one, Ashley, than I have. They're not going to talk in a challenge group. They're not going to, very, very seldom. They're not going to post their sweaty selfie for all the ladies in the group. It's just not the way they roll. So I have had much more luck. I've coached a couple men. They're really good at just getting their own stuff done, They just need you to check in and remind them or answer questions. They don't need that emotional support typically that a woman does. And Janelle says, Instagram is great because you can share each post you want straight to Facebook. Yes, I agree. Carla says, a new challenge group app might be useful working with men. I've had a couple of non-Facebook users, women, who are using it with, and it's been really useful. That's awesome. I have not tried it yet, and that's me being 100% honest with you guys. So, all right. Well, unless there's any other pressing questions, I don't want to keep you guys because I know it's late and I've kept you late on the call, but I really appreciate you taking the time to chime in. And if you do have questions, just shoot me a message or write on the team page and tag me. But I hope this was helpful. Yes. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And have a good night and have a great week. Okay. Thank you, guys.